Once upon a time, nestled in the heart of a remote forest, stood the eerie remnants of an old hotel. This hotel had once been a grand establishment, hosting travelers from far and wide. However, as the years passed, whispers began to circulate about strange occurrences within its walls. Whispers of ghostly apparitions, chilling wails in the dead of night, and an unspeakable presence that seemed to linger in every corner. Despite the ominous rumors, a young couple, named Emily and Michael, decided to spend a weekend getaway at this infamous hotel. They were thrill seekers, drawn to the macabre and the unknown. Little did they know, their curiosity would lead them down a path of terror they could never have imagined. Upon their arrival, Emily and Michael were greeted by the hotel's caretaker, an elderly man with hollow eyes and a stooped posture. He warned them of the hotel's dark history, urging them to leave before it was too late. But the couple laughed off his warnings, dismissing them as the ramblings of a superstitious old man. As night fell, Emily and Michael settled into their room, a musty chamber filled with antique furniture and faded wallpaper. Despite the cozy appearance, an uneasy feeling crept over them as they lay in bed, listening to the creaks and groans of the old building. Suddenly, a chill filled the air, and the room seemed to grow colder by the minute. Emily shivered, pulling the covers tighter around her. That's when they heard it, the sound of footsteps echoing down the hallway, slow and deliberate. Heart pounding, Michael rose from the bed and cautiously opened the door, peering into the dimly lit corridor. To his horror, he saw nothing but empty darkness stretching into the distance. But as he stepped out into the hallway, a sudden gust of wind slammed the door shut behind him, trapping him outside. Panicked, Emily tried to open the door, but it was jammed shut as if held by an invisible force. Frantically, she screamed for help, pounding on the wooden barrier until her fists grew numb. But no one came to their aid. Meanwhile, Michael wandered the labyrinthine corridors, his footsteps echoing eerily against the worn floorboards. With each passing moment, he felt as though he was being watched, the hairs on the back of his neck standing on end. Suddenly, he stumbled upon a hidden staircase leading down into the bowels of the hotel. Drawn by an inexplicable force, he descended into the darkness, his heart racing with fear. Back in the room, Emily felt a sense of dread creeping over her as the minutes turned into hours. With no sign of Michael, she knew something was terribly wrong. Desperate to find him, she grabbed a flashlight and ventured out into the hallway, her hands trembling with fear. As she searched the empty corridors, she heard the faint sound of whispers echoing from somewhere deep within the hotel. Ignoring her instincts to flee, she followed the ghostly voices, her flashlight casting long shadows against the peeling wallpaper. Finally, she reached the hidden staircase and descended into the abyss below. What she found there would haunt her nightmares for the rest of her days. In the dim light, Emily discovered a hidden chamber filled with ancient artifacts and crumbling furniture. But that wasn't what caught her attention. It was the sight of Michael, standing in the center of the room, his eyes vacant and glassy. With a sinking feeling in her heart, Emily realized that Michael was no longer himself. He was possessed by the malevolent spirit that haunted the hotel, trapped in a living nightmare from which he could not escape. Terrified, Emily tried to approach him, pleading for him to snap out of it. But it was no use. The spirit had consumed him entirely, leaving behind nothing but a hollow shell. In a last desperate attempt to save her beloved, Emily reached out to him, her hand trembling with fear. But as she made contact, a blinding light engulfed them both, and the hotel shook with the fury of 1,000 storms. When the dust settled, Emily and Michael were nowhere to be found, their fate forever intertwined with the cursed halls of the haunted hotel. And to this day, their tragic tale serves as a warning to all who dare to tempt fate in the face of unspeakable evil.